what he had to say here. The article says his former Nuggets coach George Karl continued his trademark criticism of the Los Angeles Lakers on social media last night, launching a series of tweets against LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and the historic franchise. Tired of the constant media takes on the Cowboys and the Lakers, both organizations are barely relevant. They get so much coverage because they are highly valued with large fan bases, not because they are championship contending teams! Exclamation.
Here's a tightened, punchy rewrite in a YouTube-ready style. George Karl just went full blast at LeBron James and Kevin Durant, one of the coldest call-outs the NBA has seen in years. And the internet completely lost it. The Hall of Fame coach didn't hold back. He straight up said today's superstars wouldn't survive a single season in his era. Not one, but here's where it gets wild. This all started after LeBron and KD were caught on a hot mic clowning Karl at a private event earlier in 2025. What really went down behind closed doors? Why did Karl snap and unload on social media? And how did two of the biggest names in basketball history react when a man who coached legends like Gary Payton and Carmelo Anthony called them too soft for real hoops? Buckle up, this story runs deep, and the layers just keep getting crazier.
Know that today's player is totally different than the player I started coaching in the 70s and 80s. The game has become entertainment and business more than going to the gym and kicking somebody's butt and enjoying competition. And the spirit of the game, I think, has really changed a great deal. And along with our society,
January 20th, 2025. An invite-only charity basketball event brings together some of the sport's biggest power players, elite athletes, legendary coaches, top analysts, and media insiders all under one roof. Normally, these events are low-key. No cameras, no drama, just networking and celebrating the game off the spotlight, but something went wrong. Security slipped. Recording devices made it through during a break between speeches. And suddenly, LeBron James and Kevin Durant were caught in what they thought was a private conversation. The audio isn't crystal clear, but the message is loud and undeniable. They're laughing about old-school coaches, and George Karl's name comes up fast. One cracks that Karl's tactics wouldn't survive in today's NBA. The other jokes that coaches back then just let players beat each other up and called it defense. Then comes the moment that lit the fuse. Both of them laugh as Karl is labeled stuck in the past, a man who can't handle how the game has changed. No filter, no mercy, just jokes flying. Within hours, the clip leaks on Twitter, not from ESPN, not Bleacher Report, just a random account with 3,000 followers in the right place at the right time. And once it's out, there's no putting the genie back in the bottle. The clip blows up. Millions of views in less than 24 hours. Retweets and hot takes everywhere. Fans pick sides instantly. LeBron and KD supporters defend it, saying it was a private chat. Everyone talks like this behind closed doors. But the old-school fans, they are furious. Comments fly. These guys have never faced real defense, one reads. Another, Karl coached in an era where you got punched in the face and the ref told you to play on. And here's the kicker, LeBron and KD say nothing. No tweets. No Instagram posts. No damage control. Silence. Meanwhile, George Karl sees it all. He hears every word. And he's not about to let his legacy get dragged through the mud without firing back. But before he does, you need to understand why this hit him harder than anything in years.
Pretty well dominating. They're committed to it, I guess is the best way to phrase it. But I think coaches that want to play fast, players, it's easy to get a buy-in on it. And the whole thing, again, is what I think in today's game, there's limited time. So as a coach, we got to communicate better to the time that we have them. And so
George Karl isn't just some retired coach sitting on the sidelines. This is a man who lived in the trenches of professional basketball for decades. He survived the brutal physicality of the 90s and early 2000s, an era where flagrant fouls weren't just tolerated, they were strategy. His teams didn't just compete, they battled. Gary Payton, Shawn Kemp, Carmelo Anthony, these weren't soft players. They thrived under Karl because his system demanded owness, discipline, and the grit to get knocked down and keep moving forward. So when Karl hears LeBron and KD laughing at his legacy, brushing off his era like it doesn't matter, it gets personal. Fast. 2 days after the audio leaks, Karl fires his first shot. One tweet. Nothing fancy. Just funny how the loudest voices have never bled for this game. Check back with me when you've survived a playoff series without load management. Short. Sharp. Ruthless. Fans dissect it immediately. Bled for this game. A jab at modern rest culture. Load management. A direct hit at LeBron and KD, both notorious for sitting during regular season games to stay fresh. Analysts buzz. Tension builds. Will Karl press further? Will LeBron respond? KD. 3 days later, Karl goes all in. No caption, no throwback, no meme. He posts a full-blown Instagram manifesto aimed straight at LeBron and Durant. I've been quiet for a long time. I've watched the game change. Rules soften. Superstars get protected like glass. Out of respect for the evolution of basketball, I stayed silent. But disrespect. That's where I draw the line. He doesn't stop there. You want to mock my era? Laugh at coaches who demanded toughness. Let me be clear, you wouldn't survive one practice with my teams. Not one. Then he drives it deeper. The physicality. The mental warfare. The zero tolerance for excuses. Karl knows they'd fold and he's calling it out. LeBron, KD, I respect your talent. I respect your accolades. But don't confuse success in a soft era with dominance in a real one. My players didn't rest 20 games a year. They didn't handpick teammates. They didn't complain to refs for every little thing. They played hurt, through adversity, and they never disrespected the legends who came before them. And then the MIC drop line that sets the basketball world on fire. You wouldn't survive our era. That's not an opinion. It's a fact. The reaction. Instant chaos. The basketball world explodes for days. LeBron and KD stay silent at first, and that silence only fans the flames. Fans argue, memes spread, hot takes fly. Everyone wants a reaction. Finally, LeBron breaks his silence, but it's subtle, calculated, LeBron style. No press release. No quotes. Just an Instagram story, a clean shot of his 4 championship rings, captioned "Results speak louder than words." No names. No explanations. Just power. The subtext is razor sharp. George Karl never won an NBA championship. LeBron. 4 rings, global icon, living legend. Supporters swarm social media. Karl couldn't even win a ring and wants to talk eras. LeBron has more finals MVPs than Karl has championships. Sit down. Old school fans push back just as hard. Rings don't make you tough. The stage is set. The battle lines are drawn. And just like that, a private joke at a charity event turned into one of the coldest cross-era showdowns in basketball history. Another fan fires off. This ring culture is exactly why the modern NBA is soft. And the hot takes start pouring in. Put LeBron in the 90s and watch him beg the refs after one game against the bad boy Pistons. Then KD jumps in, no subtlety here. Straight to Twitter, unloading fire. First tweet. Old coaches stay bitter because the game passed them by. Adapt or stay irrelevant. Minutes later, another. We didn't mock you, George. We stated facts. Your era had different rules. Ours is more skilled, more strategic, way more entertaining. And the knockout. By the way, if your coaching was so great, where's your ring? Full smoke. No hesitation. KD keeps liking supportive posts from fans. Meanwhile, LeBron posts a highlight reel of modern NBA offenses slicing defenses apart, captioned, "This is basketball, not street fighting." At this point, the fan war goes nuclear. This isn't just LeBron and KD fans versus George Karl supporters. It becomes a full-blown generational war. Younger fans ride for speed, spacing, and skill. Older fans defend the physicality, intimidation, and mental toughness of the 90s and early 2000s. ESPN, FS1, every major sports outlet can't stop covering it. Analysts are forced to pick sides. Some defend LeBron and KD, pointing to their insane talent, longevity, and accomplishments. Others back Karl, arguing rule changes and player protections have made it easier than ever for stars to dominate. Just when it seems the drama has peaked, Karl steps back into the spotlight and he turns it up again. Late January 2025, he agrees to an exclusive interview. Not with a major network, not under corporate oversight. He chooses a popular basketball podcast that lets guests speak freely. Karl knows exactly what he's doing. This is his moment to say everything he's been holding back. The host asks the big question. George, LeBron, and KD have responded. What do you say to them? Karl doesn't flinch. I don't care about Instagram stories or Twitter rants. That's all noise, he says. Then he drops the truth bomb. What I care about is the truth. The modern NBA is choreographed entertainment. It's not the same game I coached in. That's not necessarily bad, but don't pretend it's tougher or more competitive than what we had. He keeps pressing. LeBron and KD are incredibly talented. Never denied that. But they've had every advantage imaginable. Karl starts listing it. Easier travel, built-in rest days. The rules today protect stars from physical defense. And here's the kicker, they get to recruit teammates and build super teams. Karl leans back, shaking his head. You think my players had that luxury? Gary Payton calling up all-stars to form a big three. Forget it. The host pushes. But isn't the game more skilled now? Shooting, handles, offensive creativity. Karl leans forward, eyes locked in. Skill doesn't equal toughness. Yes, players today can shoot from anywhere and dribble through traffic, but put them in a playoff game where hand-checking is legal, hard fouls aren't punished, and trash talk is part of the culture, then we'll talk. I don't think they'd survive. They'd complain, demand rule changes, maybe even fold. The room temperature spikes. And then the line that detonates the internet. If I coached LeBron or KD for one season in my era, they'd either become the toughest players in the league or quit halfway through. Karl explains further, my practices were wars. My players fought each other to prove who was the alpha. There were no participation trophies. You earned respect by surviving. He doesn't back down. LeBron and KD have never faced that kind of grind. And honestly, Karl doesn't think they could. The clip spreads like wildfire. TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts everywhere. That line, they'd either become the toughest players in the league or quit halfway through, becomes an instant meme. Sports debate shows explode. Analysts clash. Some call Karl bitter and out of touch. Others praise him for speaking the truth about the modern NBA's softness. LeBron and KD? Silent. No tweets, no posts, no statements. And that silence. It speaks louder than anything they could have said. This isn't just Karl versus LeBron and KD anymore, it's a league-wide debate. Has the NBA gone soft, or has it simply evolved? Legends from Karl's era start picking sides publicly. One former All-Star tweets, George is 100% right. Today's superstars wouldn't last in our league. The physicality alone would break them. Another adds, load management didn't exist in our time. You played hurt or you sat permanently. No grey area. But younger stars fight back. A rising all-star posts, old heads always say their era was tougher, but could they guard a pick and roll like we do? Switch 1 through 5. Shoot from 30 feet in the clutch. Probably not. Analysts join in, breaking down the numbers. Rule changes, hand-checking removal, stricter flagrant foul enforcement post-2004, advances in sports science, and load management. Pace is faster, scoring higher, defensive intensity shifted from brute force to schemes, positioning, and anticipation. But stats don't settle debates fueled by emotion, and this beef is all emotion. Karl's reputation takes hits in certain circles. Younger fans label him a bitter coach who can't accept the game evolved. They point to one thing repeatedly: no NBA championship. To them, his tough guy style feels like nostalgia, not proof. Meanwhile, old-school fans turn Karl into a folk hero. To them, he's one of the last voices willing to call out the coddling of modern superstars. Karl represents authenticity, a refusal to play along with polished narratives and highlight real basketball. He's not just a coach, He's a symbol of what some believe the game used to be. The trade-off is clear: LeBron and KD's silence. Pure strategy. They don't need to keep debating. Their legacies are untouchable: championships, records, accolades. Their resumes speak louder than any hot take or viral clip. By staying quiet, they let Karl's words fade into the noise. But the real question won't go away: who's actually right? The truth is messy. Both sides have points. The 90s and early 2000s were brutally physical. Players took contact that would draw instant fouls today. Mental toughness wasn't optional, it was survival. The modern NBA? A completely different beast. Spacing, shooting, pace. Players defend open space, switch across positions, execute complex schemes every possession. That's excellence too, just in a different form. So maybe the debate isn't toughness versus skill. Maybe it's simply understanding that greatness looks different across eras. Good luck getting George, Karl, LeBron, and KD to agree on that. This isn't just Karl's ego clashing with LeBron and KD's pride. It exposes a deeper divide in how basketball is viewed, consumed, and valued. For older fans, toughness is everything. Playing through pain, absorbing contact, never making excuses. That's what greatness is. Watching stars rest games or complain about hard fouls. To them, it's a betrayal. Younger fans see evolution as progress. Faster pace, smarter schemes, more entertainment. Old school physicality, outdated brutality, not superior basketball. And when coaches romanticize an era of fights in the paint and unchecked contact, it sounds disconnected. This divide isn't unique to basketball, it's everywhere. Sports, music, work culture. Old guard sees softness. New guard sees bitter nostalgia. Neither fully admits the other has a point, but both do. And that's why this debate won't die anytime soon. Karl's frustration makes sense. LeBron and KD's confidence does too. Karl coached an era that demanded a specific kind of toughness, and he's watching that mentality fade. But Karl's refusal to fully respect today's skill, strategy, and evolution makes him feel stuck in the past. The game didn't get softer, it just changed. LeBron and KD. Their achievements are undeniable. They've dominated, shattered records, and redefined what's possible on a court. But mocking legends like Karl in private, that rubs fans the wrong way. It shows a lack of respect for the foundation that built the game they dominate today. So where does that leave us? Karl isn't backing down. In his eyes, modern superstars are insanely talented, but soft, and they wouldn't survive his era. LeBron and KD have said what they need to say and are moving on, but the debate lives on. Every time a star rests, Karl's words echo. Every time someone reacts to a hard foul, old-school fans feel vindicated. Every 40-point playoff game for LeBron or KD, their supporters feel proven right. The cycle repeats. Basketball evolves, and evolution always sparks friction between the past and the future. So here's the question: drop prime LeBron and KD into the 1990s. Hand-checking, hard fouls, zero load management. Would they dominate? Or struggle to survive? Now flip it. Put George, Karl's toughest players into today's NBA: modern spacing, deep shooting, constant switching. Superstars. Or just role players? The floor is yours. Drop your answers in the comments. Let's settle this once and for all. George, Karl threw the first punch. LeBron and KD fired back. But this isn't just about them. It's about respect, evolution, and what true greatness really means. If you want more breakdowns of the wildest basketball drama, hit like, subscribe, share with someone who needs to see this, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next one. Drop your take in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.